North Korea's inner circle, including its leader Kim Jong-un, have met in Pyongyang and is vowing to beef up the rogue regime's nuclear weapons capability. Last week, the North declared it was in a state of war with the South and put its rocket batteries on launch standby to threaten US targets throughout the Pacific. Now the United States has deployed 2 stealth fighters to the Korean Peninsula to take part in military drills. North Asia correspondent Mark Willesee reports from the South Korean capital Seoul, which would be in the front line of any conflict.
Under the gaze of their dear departed leaders, tens of thousands of North Korean soldiers paraded in Pyongyang. Some held signs declaring, "Full-out war, let's punish the United States and its followers." But it's unclear if the army is leading this drive towards conflict or merely following the orders of its new and untested young leader. In the last couple of weeks, Kim Jong-un has torn up the Korean war truce, cut the last military hotline, and announced the North was in a state of war with the South. Now, in a meeting with top members of his ruling party, he's declared that Pyongyang will beef up its nuclear weapons program. It will need to if it's to carry out its vow to launch strikes against the United States and its allies. There's no doubt North Korea has invested heavily in its missile technology, and some believe it has the range to hit threatened targets in Guam, Hawaii and Japan. Kim Jong-un's regime is even threatening to strike the US mainland, although analysts agree it doesn't yet have that capability. The real fear is an attack on this place, Seoul, which is just 40 kilometres from the border. It's feared that it could be hit by up to 500,000 artillery rounds in the first hour of a battle. But talking to people here, there's no sense of panic, only a sense that it's the same old rhetoric from the same old regime.
I've watched them issue these threats for so long that I think these are just the same old threats that they're making again.
I'm not seriously worried because North Korea is isolated both politically and economically.
So what's driving Kim Jong-un to push the peninsula to the brink of war? Some analysts say it's the old military hardliners the young dictator has surrounded himself with. Others argue it's a desperate attempt to get the United States to the negotiating table. While others think it's an early test for South Korea's new president, Park Geun-hye. What is certain is that it's a dangerous game that carries with it a high risk of miscalculation. Crucially, the joint industrial park just over the border in the north remains open, with South Koreans crossing over to work. And while Pyongyang is ready to rip up truces and threaten missile strikes, it seems unwilling to give up the nearly $100 million in cash this facility generates every year.
I am worried a little bit. But what can I do? I have to go there to work. But how can the North Koreans close the area easily? They have to make money. The industrial park is their source for earning money.
And to help send another message to the North, the United States has now deployed 2 F-22 stealth fighters to the Korean Peninsula to take part in military drills, a move certain to rile the regime in Pyongyang. For now, life goes on here in South Korea, with the huffing and puffing from over the border less of a headache for most than the peak hour traffic. Mark Willesee, Lateline.